In less than a week, the Israeli parliament will open its summer session, and the fate of Naftali Bennett's coalition government hangs in the balance. The coalition whip, who had quit the government earlier this month, is now publicly urging her friends in Yamina to quit the coalition. Meanwhile, the RAM party that boycotted the governing coalition over the Jerusalem violence agreed to return to the fold. To get a sense of how the government is planning to deal with this political crisis, WION's Dori Cohen spoke to Jeremy Saltan, the political advisor to the Israeli Prime Minister. Take a listen in.
Jeremy, thank you for speaking with WION. Now, I first wanted to ask you about the state of the coalition government. It's obviously been weakened over the last couple of weeks with the departure of MK Idit Silman, and she's now calling on her former colleagues in the coalition government to join her and leave. Do you think that will happen?
No, I don't think that will happen. Also, we did see that MK Idit Silman chose not to vote against the coalition in a very crucial House Rules Committee vote just last week. I think she understands that she's in a very delicate place in terms of her own political future, so I'm not so sure she's going to be voting against the coalition very often, even if at all. So, if you will, we're going to be in a situation not of a 60-60 split within Knesset, our parliament, but in a 60-59 split, which gives us still that slight majority on a majority of the issues.
Now, the RAM party has recently rejoined the coalition after the 2-week suspension over the violence in Jerusalem. If Hamas calls for unrest again, do you think RAM will leave the coalition government again? And if that's the case, is Hamas effectively in control of the future of the Israeli government?
No, not at all. We just saw that Hamas called on RAM to topple the government, and as you mentioned, RAM just rejoined the coalition. So it's very clear that there is no connection between those two sides when it comes to the issue of the Israeli government. So I feel very confident, if it's necessary to go ahead and do anything in Gaza, that we will be able to go ahead and do so without worrying about the stability of this coalition.
Prime Minister Bennett and Foreign Minister Lapid are known to have differing views on issues like the Palestinians and the Russia-Ukraine war. How is that being taken forward?
Well, I think on the Russia-Ukraine war, there's a lot more of a, if you will, a unity within both those two gentlemen who are leading this coalition, as well as the entire 8 parties that really make up the coalition. But I will say on the issue of the Palestinians, we're very much in disagreement. We all have different ideas of what is supposed to happen there. That's why there's been no diplomatic process, no political process on that issue during this first 11 months of this government, and expect that to continue moving forward, in which that issue is going to be put to the side because, frankly, there's too much disagreement to see any progress on that moving forward.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.